hope this is starting right now. Good evening, or way late in the evening. It's almost the next day. Uh, Tomorrow is the 20th, I think. I think. Okay. I don't have any TV. And my TV completely froze. So, what a fantastic game it was, Kansas City Chiefs and LA Rams. St. Louis Rams is the name that comes into my mind. They are LA Rams now. So LA Rams, 105 points or something like that they scored by both teams. That's scoring left and right, gunslinging, and that's the way it is. Contrary to what you guys might have seen, I have another camera, set up here, which is live. That is an IP camera. If you know what is an IP camera, an IP camera doesn't need a computer. It will directly connect to my. You can get it for like $30. It costs you only like $30, to actually put an IP camera. If you go to Light in the Box or even Amazon, have some expensive pieces, but there are very, easily manageable cameras available there. Recently, Travis Leggy. Okay. Name is a very familiar one. Okay, so that's in. Okay, yesterday I forgot to tell you, I have Instagram. All these posts also get posted into Instagram. So I am actually here doing a show. What is this poem about, and what is this show about? That's an interesting scenario. Whether people are going to like this poem or not, it is a. I may have to give some idea about what triggered the poem to be written. But like Christopher James yesterday was telling, you don't need to really explain the poem because it kind of defeats the purpose. There is a magic in it for people to understand what exactly they should be. It's up to them, their interpretation. Now, what was it yesterday and day before yesterday? It was all uptight and tense. I was, little crazy. Anybody will go crazy when people come try to copy your work from your website. And today it was on another site. I have an old blog called zanga.com. That was back in 2005. I started the blog there. It connected me to a lot of really, really good-hearted people. I mean, they were writers and astrologers, to you name it, all kind of different groups of people were there. It was a fantastic experience. I don't think you will get the same experience with Facebook groups. I thought Facebook may be better, everything will be fantastic, but Facebook had overgrown. I had like about 150 people. I think it was less than 150 people I connected to, and we communicated very well. That's where I met a couple of very, very great authors. Jodie Anderson was a great photographer. She was a very good friend. I haven't had any chance of communicating with Jodie Anderson after that. I tried to email her. She lives in Madison. No contact at all. I think I think she had some situation with her boyfriend because she had a kid and the boyfriend had issues with her. Have the kid or something like that. It was going on. She was in a depressive mode probably at that time. Then Danga collapsed. And yesterday, what happened was these folks came to Zanga.com. I don't use Zanga.com. I because I have Facebook and I have my own sites. I moved on from there. They moved. They had a fantastic setup, and they moved that to WordPress and asked people you can take your stuff and go away. It was really bad. I mean, they could have they should have tried to. They had subscriptions, and I have a lifetime subscription there. Um, I thought okay they may continue for a while, but the site is there. but there is nobody there. Almost all the people have already gone to um, their own blogs, most of the people, as well as to Facebook, of course. That and there were when I started on Zanga.com, it was Zanga.com and MySpace. MySpace was a crowded place, and the crowd there was way too young, and I was like, I don't want to go and but I stopped. That means it's warm. Uh, the young crowd and me won't really go very well. I mean, they were too young, 15, 16-year-old kids. Even though I hooked up with a 15-year-old girl, I cannot say hooked up. I mean, she was a very nice person. She was a very nice poet, and she appreciated my poetry, things like that. That's why many people say you got hooked up with the 15-year-old there. Oh, I didn't hook up with anybody. uh, in a way, these sites, and if somebody is actually going to Zanga.com, and if you know what exactly they did was 57 from three different IP addresses, 57 hits, and after one after the other. So probably the person used two different computers or two different people. That's why it's like it can be two different people too, but pretty much the same time. And it's simultaneously going through each and every post. They can view some posts. They can view, not all. The other things are private posts. I actually made it to private. It is weird. I mean, why would somebody actually do things like that? But it took some time for them to actually go through that and left. Maybe it is just to give an idea that we will do this no matter what you say. Okay, go do it. And those posts there are all copyrighted. Everything is copyrighted because the entire Age of Survival book is there in Zanga.com. But even though it's all private, they also know. Zanga.com folks also know about this. These are heavily copyrighted material because my publishers, because Age of Survival, as you may know, I think I may have to show you. Okay. Now, moving things here is a little tedious. Age of Survival, as you may know, is a book. Okay, I wrote the book, and it got approximately 276 pages, 193 poems. I thought 193 poems. You can see my picture on the back too. This is Age of Survival, and I'm going to do something with Age of Survival soon. Because I'm going to bring because the original, the main problem with the book was the original book. I'm looking at the CV. The original book was $27. Still, 8,000 people bought the book. So it was not a bad, for that price for a completely unknown person who calls himself LonelyPoet. Sold that many copies. I was very happy about that. I mean, I was like, I wanted to publish a book. I wanted to publish a book and so that I can do it. That was the idea. So yeah, these things are all there, and I was actually told by some people. I have a very, I have a guide, person, and it's like a Sufi guide. That person told you might want to really, be less intensified in your attitude and more in the line of, see, you want to be in a place. Where do you really want to be? What exactly you should do to be there? If you are not satisfied with where you are, where do you want to be? And what are the steps you can do and you are going to do? See, there are steps you can do. Something is bothering me. Steps you can do, and some of the steps, even though you are not going to do it. That's me. When I was, even from a very younger age, when I go to say write examination in school, my mother always tell the teachers, make sure he sits there at least through the examination, because if this is a question paper I'm receiving, I look at the question paper and immediately I answer all the questions I know. So this is not an order. So I leave gaps, where things I don't know anything about, or things I have no idea, things that I leave a gap. So the teachers, or the monitors, the people who are actually looking at it, they said, don't leave gap. If you want, you can take a fresh paper. I'll give you a fresh paper. And they will give me a fresh paper so that I can write it. And the thing is, once I'm sure I have enough pass mark, you know what I do? Give the paper and walk away. So this is just I know there's a delay in this. I can see the delay very clearly. Sorry about that. And yesterday I had audio problems too, so I adjusted the audio. So these things, when you so what I was saying is, even from that very younger age, I'm relaxed. I don't take too much from anything. So the same thing, attitude is what I was told. You should not, indulge into activities. I lost the train of thought there, but I should not actually get in and indulge into activities that actually make things intense. Relax. Take a step back, if things are not working. If, say for example, you can reach the step-by-step process through which I can reach a place, I need to go through that step-by-step, one by one. Because when you touch another life, you better be very careful. That is the message I got. When I touch somebody, I better be very careful. Now I'm going to connect this whole thing into that poem, because this poem I wrote about somebody waiting for a long time. And the waiting, what is the end of that waiting? Where is the fulfillment of that waiting? I don't know. I really, really don't know what was the end of that waiting. What should be the goal at the end of it? Because when you are trying to connect to another person, everything is open-ended. Because you can make decisions, but those decisions may not really apply in, say, practice 100%. I think you understand what I'm saying. The reason is, you are 100% sure that this is what you want. But when you put another part to it, that means at least 50% of this is just sitting with another person's wishes, needs, wants. Those things need to be in part of that too. So once it becomes connected, then it becomes a different goal. And here at this point, that's why I say the end goal is to be with another person, but what exactly that person needs is something which I'm not 100% sure. This is where the communication gaps are coming. So that's what this poem is about. Basically, those are the thoughts that I came with. But for some reason, when I was actually thinking about the whole thought process about behind the poem was happening, this image of this bride coming into my mind. One of the reason I have seen was, many times towards the end of a relationship, before they get married. I'm not saying end of the relationship means they are breaking up. When they decide, okay, we are going to get married, and they get married, and at that end part, this is an end of an era. And it's the beginning of another era. People actually, and I don't, even though I don't really 100% agree with that fact, but the nervousness and the commitment, situations, all these things, when you add up, people will end up saying, should I really do this? Even though it is just a true lover, or true lovers, when they come together, it is just a day with a good party, fantastic dance, drinks, food, and nice dress, and all the people who are coming in there, well-wishers. It's a day of happiness. Let's just pass through that and then move on with the same life before. If you are going to change everything right after that particular day, then you are going to lose your love. That's my viewpoint. people have different viewpoints. There are people who fight right after that. People who are together for 10 years, dating and sleeping and everything. And many people will even have children, but they get married 1 year down. In the court, fighting it out. Attorneys are sitting beside them and trying to give them all kind of stupid knowledge. So that last part is what I took, where you decide you are going to get married. A girl, somebody who comes and try to marry, and somebody asks you to marry him, and that girl decides, okay, I'm going to marry him, but actually is not sure whether this is the right thing to do. Then all through the life of that person, there are dreams about that marriage, about a person. All through the entire life, for a man as well as a woman, there is that idea that there is somebody out there. There is somebody who you want to be with you, who actually synchronize with your thoughts, who is on the same page on many of the aspects, even though that is very unlikely on every aspect. This waiting, it is a lifelong wait. If you are talking about the purity of the marriage, there are people who just get married, they know that this is not going to work, and still they do it for the heck of it. And then they break up and go they marry like 3 or 4 people in their lifetime before they actually say, okay, yeah, marriage, screw it. So I have seen it all. When I first met Jodie, not Jodie Anderson. I mean, there was a lady who worked in when I was at Keene. I think she was working at the A.O. Smith Corporation. She was a administrative assistant there, and she used to come. I used to smoke at that time. She comes and sits with me, and Catherine, another lady, was there. And she once actually told me, I was sitting there and I'm smoking. It was cold too, and this lady came and sat right beside me and said, "You know what? Do you want a diamond ring?" I was like, "What? You want a diamond ring?" I was like, "Why would I need a diamond ring?" She's like, "My marriage is over. I can give you the ring." I said, "Maybe give it to charity." She's like, used a string of profanity because she lost every belief in charity and divinity and spirituality, all because she had gone through a lot. I mean, her husband was a drug addict. He cleaned up, then he became a drunkard. Then that, became a problem, public nuisance. He got DUI cases. He beat his neighbor. Then he started doubting her. He's having an affair with everyone. So she had gone through all kind of hell. And then eventually they decided, okay, they are going to divorce. Here's the thing, 3 kids. She's going to, live with 3 kids. It's very sad. For a person, from my family, there was hardly like only 2 people I really know who divorced. And I know how much struggle they have gone through to do that. My own brother and my uncle. My uncle never married. My brother also never married after that. That's the thing. That's how important we, especially in my family in India, we take marriage very seriously. And it is a waiting, and like I said before, it is a waiting of understanding of what is a relationship truly is, and it is the end of that waiting. That's that marriage point. That's what those are the thoughts I actually took, and then I actually gave a romantic twist to it. That's this poem. Let me read this poem to you. I think I'm already nearly, I don't know what time is this, 19 minutes, yeah. I thought I'll do it in 20, but it's me. I can keep on going. So let's do this poem. The Waiting Bride. The childhood days danced through the dreams she weaved, and in it a wonderful prince called her his princess of dreams. Through the wonderful lands they wandered and played. Joy and pride hid away worries of the world in charms of innocence. Life rolled different carpets for those silky feet to walk, and to her came faces of smiles charms, beauty, and adventures. Love defined in many different ways through the seasons past, though it all fulfilled dreams one by one with touches of romance. Cycles of life, oh, at times brought pain and she fell, but somewhere from her soul she picked words of that little prince, and through the fantasies all pains of a wilder world erased. Ah, perfection took a touch from her soul to fill the human world. Years passed, charms have left, life with her wandered, nothing wrong, but no heart found the love to make her love. And she held no hands without care, but again and again lost. Oh, love's spirituality in many ways, by many misunderstood. Then she settled for a man whom she thought she may love, but the material world rumbled at her, threw him a flavor of love. Ah, she knew not about what she should do or say, but said yes. The world around celebrated in colors, filled joys she knew not. Oh, that day, the wonderful day in the hall of a church she waited, the wrapped silk and the held flowers were no match in prettiness, and for the world and her man to be ready at the altar she stood. Oh, then she heard a voice from near that said, Princess of my dreams. Looked around and walked around, and in a distance she found the man only in dreamy voices she heard, but in real he stood. And to his smile and another romantic verse she dedicated. Her love deep in her soul, all her life in waiting she kept. And they walked away in the awe of all the fake love of the world. The, and she never looked back at the colors and whistles of the world, where the pain of waiting she erased with a dream, and now held her hand in fulfillment of a lifetime of waiting. It's not a very small poem. I needed to build that thing so much to come to that point where a lifetime of waiting, this when you're talking about love, love is an emotional part of your life, and it is very emotional. So that's some days back, I think it is Amy King, the poet. Yeah, I think it is to her. I said this. Understand, love is an emotional thing. It comes from your heart. But as the emotions, there is a problem with that when you're dealing with emotions. When I'm sitting here, my emotions are connecting to an energy level. And if you don't understand that, it is very, very difficult for you to love. So when I see a person here in this place, say for example, right in this den, if I'm seeing a girl, the feeling I have may not be the same when I'm actually going into a mall or going into, and walking around near the lakeside. It may not be the same. It will be totally different. So the emotions actually changes with the circumstances and everything, or the places. Every single aspect hits your emotions, because emotions really really hits you through the energy of things, and the vibe of that energy is something which you should feel. But the thing about lovers is they expect all the love to remain as is intact. This is where people lose their mind, saying, oh, you loved me then, now you don't love me. What happened to our love? The love is there. The thing is that emotional charging, you need to really reconnect back to it. This is a constant work. If you can't do this, if you can't connect that, if you cannot fulfill that, then you are going to get blasted out. You have nothing. You will end up with sorrow. You will perpetually think there is nobody to love me. There are people who loves you, but the thing is, emotionally you are not charging right to get into the vibe of that person. That's what I'm kind of saying. When you come to a point where you are emotionally trying to connect, and eventually you are making a compromise, saying, I may be able to love this person. I may be able to connect to this person. I may be because I'm talking to this person, I'm sleeping with this person, I'm having sexual. See, sexual relationship and emotional relationship are totally different. A person can go and have sex with maybe 20 different people, and end up with nothing, nothing in the heart. See, that's where love and passion and all those things comes emotionally. If you don't understand, it will, because somebody, I have seen people going through this scenario. Like I said, Jody, she dated the guy for 10 years. She have 3 children. I think she had 2 children when she got married, and then she had another children after the marriage. All ended up in down the drain, completely gone. And here is a woman. Eventually what she did was she took the ring and thrown it into the river. Well, I was like, okay, I said, I don't want a diamond. She said, go ahead to go and pawn it or sell it. Or I said, I don't want somebody's married because I think I had that emotional thing that came up. I was like, I should don't do this. I may make like $3,000 or $4,000 because that's such a beautiful diamond ring. She just throw it away into a river. She said, she don't believe in it. So people lose the belief of everything else. What it's all boiling down to is, see, I personally connect to people, and it may be romantic, it may be just business, it may be personal, or professional, anything you can say. Each and every time I connect to a person, when I actually connect to a person, like I said, it's an energy level, and that energy level sometimes can become intense. And when that intensity happens, there are times when I have to cut and back because the thing is, the intensity through which I am going into a person may not be the same for that person. That person may become psyched out. And I have seen people, like this happen not once, not twice, multiple times at professional level, at emotional level, at just personal level. When I actually follow up with those people, it becomes so intense. People will get suffocated because of that. I have seen it happening. Right? Yeah, I don't need another person's example to be said. I myself had that experience when that intensity gets, when it becomes very intense. I'm going to give you an example of, how somebody actually got really intense because there was a girl called Arina Matviva. She's Russian. Um, she appreciates poetry a lot. I mean, really, really appreciate the poetry. However, Arina Matviva had a problem. Arina Matviva is unbelievably short-tempered. That means one, two, she will be like, I want this, I want this. She had gone through hell in her life. I helped her a lot. I mean, out of the, there are, you won't believe. It's unbelievable ways I have reached to her to help her. And I didn't put forward any condition that, she should romantically involve with me or anything. No, 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 no. It was not that. In the end, I gave her an idea. This is like, inception. I implanted an idea into her head. I said, why don't you get out of Russia, come to United States, change everything, like what I did. She was very young. When I met her, she was 19, and we've gone through a lot of really weird situations. That itself is another long story. But long story short, she ended up saying to me, the thing with you is all the things you did. She said, for about 4 months, she hardly had any sleep. That means 1 or 2 hours a day is what she's sleeping. She's all drowsy all the time. And she said, the reason is I am actually holding my phone and sitting in, and sleeping. Or even when I'm lying down, I have this phone in my hand which will vibrate and tell me, that you are sending me a message. Because that intense, because even though the help needed a lot of intensity, I needed to go out of ways and out of bounds and to illegal means to help her out. But still, I felt, I said, wait a minute. And at that time, one day, 1 week, I remember the week. I was actually working at Boston store too. I had 2 jobs, and that 1 week, My aunt in India passed away, and I know that I will not be able to continue working because I need to step away from work because my employment authorization did not come through. Uh, that means didn't renew it time in time. What USCIS or the immigration department did was they automatically extended for 180 days. My employer requires me to have a authorization for at least a year. So I needed to step away from that work. And when I'm stepping away from both these work, I know I cannot continue on a temporary job, and Boston Store job was just a temporary job. So at that time, my manager, Colleen, and my, Bridget, there was another girl who was working. Two of them, I said, okay, in 1 week, I lost my aunt, I lost two of my jobs, and the third one was this girl. And I said, okay, I needed to say bye to a girlfriend. Many people, I don't know whether Colleen herself actually misunderstood as this is a girlfriend. I mean, I have never seen her in real. I have seen her on videos. Video chats. Irina Matviva left, and our friendship completely broke down because I was too intense. Now you should know there are times when I need to become intense. That was the intensity you have seen in the last couple of days. It all boils down to that. Okay. So yeah, there are times everybody will go through situations like that. But I think I'm going to step back from this whole thing for a while. The intensity and all those things. As far as, to end this particular poetry show, right now, I'll be doing the rest of the poems, other things, new poems will be coming out. It's winter, man. I'm writing like hell right now. You see, my papers are all getting, you see. These things are sitting here. You can, of course, come to lonelypoet.com and watch me write, there are times. And I need to sleep more. I'm not Arina Matviva to actually. I sleep a lot. I can see like 12 to 14 hours a day. I sleep. And I make sure that I get that sleep, especially during holidays and all. I sleep a lot. And winter, because when I write, the idea comes in, I push it in there. These poems or ideas which I'm going to write down right now, it may take like another 8 months, 9 months to actually come to this idea because there are things I need to work through. So, no more intensity. That's what I'm doing. I need to take the intensity of everything. My work, my poetry, my show, my relationships, many friends, whom are going to, already people have popped up because it's Monday. Thanksgiving Day is coming. Next is Thanksgiving Day. Wednesday. Thursday. Wednesday I have a dinner, which is away from here. Then with Thursday morning I need to drive all the way to New Berlin. So all lot of scenarios are going to happen, and I'm going to be here. This Thanksgiving I'm going to be here, and this Christmas also I'll be here. Christmas, New Year I'll be in Milwaukee. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to be here. So yeah, it's all going to be a really fun time. A lot of fun. I love holidays time. Even though I'm not a Christian to actually celebrate Christmas, I'm the one guy who actually celebrate Christmas like better than Christians because I enjoy the festive mood. From about Thanksgiving in this, all the way through the end of the year, the Thanksgiving, Christmas, kids and everybody have holidays. They will come out and have fun in this cold weather, and Christmas will happen, and then New Year. Oh my God, it's a blast. Last year we had tons of fun. I was not here for all of these things. Thanksgiving I went to Kansas, came back. Then Christmas I went to Kansas and I stayed there through through New Year. Oh, that was awesome. This year, what is going to be the fun part of things? That's the dynamic part of life. I'll figure that out. So right now I'm not going to take too much of anybody's time. 35 minutes is good. Okay, I think I may have to put a blank before I actually get out because of the delay. I'm going to bring that in, and oops. Here you go. Have a great night, everybody. Fantastic, fantastic shows are coming. Okay, bye bye.